My own experience, my personal experience as a filmmaker has really been limited up until this point to documentary. And until we started on this project, that was all I really knew. And so I learned a lot as a director during that week that we were filming. In documentaries, when you're filming documentaries, you want everyone to just be themselves, and so it's really a lot of like, just forget the camera's there, just be yourself, say what you would say. But in something like this that's scripted, you can't really do that because they're not supposed to act like themselves, they're supposed to act like these characters. And so I grew a lot as a director, just trying to think about how I could phrase things to them to get them to see it the way I saw it and get them to say their lines right. And Sophia grew a lot as an actor. And I'm hoping that we can work together again when we get to filming the pilot completely. This whole project was actually Sophia's first acting experience. I casted her because she really looked exactly how I pictured Lil in my head. But she was really camera shy, more so than I thought she would be, and Marlon was also very camera shy during the more serious scenes. So working with the two of them, especially in this scene where it's just the two of them, was very difficult because they're both so funny. They're just very naturally funny people, and they would make each other laugh, and it would just take forever to get them back on track. Alright.
It's like, I can do it, and then as soon as I look at him, I can't.
Don't look at him. Look at the spot right next to him on the wall. You don't even have to look directly at him. We won't be able to tell on camera.
I'll look at him through the camera. Yeah, I've budding role player, much less actress, so it was difficult. I had a really hard time because I'm really goofy, like Lil is supposed to be most of the time in my real life, but then I get in front of the camera and I become like, I am Lil. This is what I am going to do. And it was just like really difficult to get comfortable enough to be able to actually like give a line. That, and I have a sieve for a memory, so remembering the lines was like really difficult.
But you did it so well. After a while you kept getting into the character and we just loved the heck out of you. You were amazing.
Working with Marlon was such a trip. When I asked him to do it, I knew that he had had some acting experience in the past, just other really small projects like Werewolf, but it didn't really occur to me that when Marlon was in those past productions, he usually played something that was just kind of like himself, which is just incredibly funny, and he uses a lot of physical comedy. After this scene, the final cut, you see the two girls sort of look at each other in shock, and the clip's actually a little bit longer, but Marlon, who couldn't contain himself, after he stormed off and before I said cut, did this power slide across my kitchen, and it was really funny, but I was so afraid he'd ruin the shot because it was like my favorite reaction from both the girls. They were really just spot on for that scene, and then he just couldn't contain himself any longer. But it was funny, and luckily I was able to edit it out, and as you saw in the clip, it turned out just fine.
In regards to playing the character, I kind of had to take it down various notches, not just one, but several. A lot. So it was very difficult. It's like, oh, how's this so far? That's good, just don't be you so much. Don't. You can be little, just not so... No. Also, with the scene that we were doing, the room scene with all the three of us, after my character Alex storms out, it was really hard not to comedically fall off the couch because of the instinct of doing so. Though I did comedically walk into the wall. That was probably on the outtakes too, and there was also a power slide, which Rachel hated. It was great, but ill-placed.
That was the damn it Marlon scene.
Yes, that was, I believe in the commentary you could actually hear Rachel say, okay guys, that was great! No, damn it Marlon!
All of the scenes that I wrote for this project were without context. I have the whole script and the whole show kind of figured out in my brain, but when I wrote these clips, I sort of gave these little clip scripts to the actor and didn't really give him a lot of context or any kind of background to go on. And I didn't really think about how it would really affect their interpretation of each scene. The problem was that I've seen this show over and over and over again in my mind since I started working on it last year. And I sort of just assumed that they had to, even though obviously they couldn't have. But it was very interesting for me to see how the actors interpreted just the short scripts that I had given them, and also a good experience for me to sort of have to retell the story and take in what they had seen into account.